A little project for a friend, Sony Bluetooth speaker. The USB socket, of course, broke, as they do. Now he's managed to find a replacement, so let's get that out and have a closer look. Well, I see a problem immediately, and that is that there are two little components down here. Can't quite see what they are. They might be transistors. They're very small. Right next to the surface mount pads, so it's going to be very difficult to get an iron in there. I mean, I suppose I should do it with paste and a heat gun, but I don't have a heat gun with a nozzle that would direct enough to get in there. But I think the first thing is to get that off and maybe take a look at what those two devices are. So I think some blue tack for this, keep it all nice and stable on the desk. Bed that down in there and get the sucker on these 4 hardware mounting points. Okay, need to clean my iron and have a go at sucking these. It's not going to be easy. Let's do these front 2 first. Now, I don't know what solder they've used on here, but it's almost certainly going to be lead free. Right, solder sucking these holes doesn't seem to do anything. The solder's still in there. So now I'm going to put a bit of leverage on this and just heat each pad up in turn to try and get the socket to come away from the board. But I suspect this is going to be difficult. Yes, I think it is. Okay, it's not budging, so the next thing is to clip off each of the 4 mounting lugs with my snippers and then try and lever the socket up. Right, that's too difficult because I can't get the cutters under these legs. Now it looks like the thing that's holding the socket down is a separate strip of steel running across the top, so I'm going to cut through it down the middle and then see if I can unpeel it either side. Now the problem is I've got to desolder these 5 pads, and you can't solder suck them, you just have to heat them, and really you have to heat them all simultaneously, or you just completely dismantle this socket and just pull them off one by one. But this socket still has legs going down through these mounting points, so they've got to be cut away, and I've got to remove more of this metalwork. And as I say, soldering these 5 points is going to be extraordinarily difficult because there are 2 little components here. I think they're resistors actually, linking the D plus and D minus midpoints to ground or VCC or something like that. But anyway, I'll cut more of this socket away, see if I can expose the pads. But the danger is, of course, that I rip all the tracks off the board where these 5 pads are soldered. Let's press on. So in the end, I just rocked this continuously until it fell off. So now I've got to suck those 4 holes out and clean up those 5 pads. Right, plenty of flux applied to the 5 pads down on the board, the surface mount pads. Let's try and get the new socket on. All these holes have been sucked through. And now my attempt to solder the 5 pins at the back. Plenty of flux on there. I can't get the camera close because I need to be able to see what I'm doing, but this is going to be very hit and miss. And they're all joined together, so that's not going to work. Oh look, okay, let's have a close-up look at it. Soldering the 4 feet was relatively straightforward, so I think those are all right. But the 5 pads at the back was pretty much jab and go, and it's been done really without any sort of ability, but it might be making a connection on the power connectors, which I believe is all that's necessary. So it might work, it might not. I shall hand it back to my my friend. Goodbye.